You're listening to The Bird Bath.
Welcome back to The Bird Bath. Each week we scrape the surface of the news you need to know. This week from España. So let's get into it. Our top story this week is kind of a cool one from Nibbles. They are making some moves and putting together something that's a little bit different from what people are expecting to see from the credit card and pet insurance space. They've launched what they're calling the first fully automated pet insurance claim systems built directly into a credit card. So the way that it works, and it took me a little bit of time to kind of break this down, but what you do as a client is you use the Nibbles card at any licensed vet. It automatically deducts eligible charges, files the insurance claim, and reimburses 80% of that after a $500 deductible, up to $10,000 per year. There's no forms, there's no uploads, there's no manual submissions. It's pretty cool. It's something that's included in the card. It's something that a lot of different companies are trying to tackle how to best handle this automation and the things that are happening here. Now, if you're wondering, okay, well, how are they making money? Well, Nibbles is a credit card, and it's only after that $500 deductible. So they've got a really great opportunity there to get people to start thinking pet expense, use Nibbles, pet expense, use Nibbles. But they're not the only person that's trying to tackle this. If you remember, gosh, I think it was 4 or 5 months ago, Pumpkin rolled out Urgent Pay, which they call as the first fully automated real-time payments directly into the vet clinic. So kind of a different way to slice these things out. Now, Pumpkin is tackling it more from a traditional insurance space, whereas Nibbles is more of a credit card benefit. You also have Trupanion, who offers their direct pay for vets, but it requires a software integration and a lot of other things. So pretty interesting to see. I'm excited to see where Nibbles is going to go with this. Obviously, being a Texan myself, seeing an Austin-based startup is something that's always interesting, and it'll be interesting to see where they grow from this. A lot of players in the space, but definitely one to keep your eye on. Next, Immertech, which kind of sounds like a medicine people were taking to fight COVID, but actually it's immersive technology. They've launched their animal health division to revolutionize veterinary training. So they are now providing, if you've been to any of the talks that I've done with Audrey Weisstrach on technology and the utilization of VR and AR and things like that, Immertech is doing that right now. And they're entering the animal health space with their training. So they utilize VR headsets to allow people to do more immersive trainings and sessions and learn about new procedures while being able to do that in a virtual reality landscape. It's pretty cool to be able to see. They've been working in the human healthcare side of things as well as a lot of other stuff, but they are now fully putting themselves into the animal health space with this new division. What they've said is that they're looking to improve opportunities for new procedures, remote monitoring, training, as well as remote guidance. So I'm a big fan of this. I think it's going to be cool to be able to see people doing hands-on-ish work. The more time that we can give people the opportunity to see what they're going to be seeing in practice, or if we can give the opportunity for, heck, even non-veterinary leadership to be able to see what their teams are going through in an operating room, or what a new surgical laser could do. It could be really cool to be able to bridge that gap without the massive licensing implications or legal ramifications or life health ramifications of working on an actual patient. So really cool to see Immertech launching here. There's another company out of Europe, which as I'm doing my grand tour, I have to tap some of these other ones. VetVR is also doing it. They are obviously exclusively focused in the veterinary space and obviously now have a big player that is entering into the world with them. Morris Animal Foundation has a new CEO, Ike Nickel, which I'm probably mispronouncing, so Ike, sorry about that. Ike comes to the animal health space and joins Morris Animal Foundation after being in a role as the CEO of US Retina. The interesting thing about this, and I'm not always hitting on a new CEO here or this coming in there or anything like that. But the thing that I found interesting is Morris Animal Foundation has a really, really big footprint in our industry. They do a lot of investing and a lot of grants and a lot of funding for research. They are partnered with Leap Venture Studios to help drive a lot of the new startups that we talk about on the show here. And they're an important player here. They're also a nonprofit. And it's interesting to see them bringing in a new CEO with a history of building, restructuring a company, and then working on the sale of that company. So when Ike was, I'm calling you Ike like we're best friends now, because probably butchering your last name, right? And so Ike was the CEO at US Retina, and he helped them go through a restructuring. He guided them through a successful sale to McKesson, who many of you are aware of. And if you aren't, Google it. And so it's neat or surprising or curious to see where this history is going to be taking them. Morris Animal Foundation has, again, been a big part of what's going on in this space. And I'm curious to see where that experience handles with the nonprofit, if we're going to be seeing a future movement of Morris Animal Foundation into a larger parent company sale, or if the idea here is to just utilize that restructuring experience to be able to improve and increase the impact that the foundation has had and continues to have. So stay tuned to that one. And Ike, if you reach out, tell me how you say your last name. I'm going with Nickel. And hey, why not? Have a great day, Ike. Our final story this week is a call to action for veterinarians in California. California has a bill on the floor to ban pet brokers. Assembly Bill 519 or 519, however you like to say it, will prohibit puppy and kitten brokers from selling or transferring dogs, cats, or rabbits for profit in California. Right now, and this is information coming from the ASPCA, they're saying these brokers act as middlemen, often sourcing animals from high-volume breeders and reselling them to consumers without transparency or accountability. This bill would close key loopholes that enables consumer fraud and ongoing animal welfare issues. Now, we've hit on this a little bit. We talked about the puppy mill bans and the efforts to reduce the inhumane or mass breeding that happens at a lot of locations. California's banned puppy mills already. Some cities in Nevada are banning it. Nevada's trying to do a statewide ban. But what they find is obviously in a state-by-state situation, a lot of these people just travel to a state that it's not banned in. And so this is a situation here where California is trying to close a bit of a loophole that allows, in some views, right? I'm not going to pretend to be a legislator here, but looking to close a loophole that allows high volume breeders to utilize a broker to skip or get around that nuanced piece of the legislation. So you could do a high volume breeding in Nevada, have a middleman or a broker bring that animal into California and resell it, thereby just sort of kind of paying a middleman fee to circumvent the bans that are in place. So the ASPCA veterinary engagement team is calling on all California veterinarians to sign in support of the ban. The ASPCA says in the letter, this bill does not harm the responsible breeders, but rather protects consumers from unknowingly purchasing animals from deceptive middlemen. If you want to participate in this, or if you want your voice heard, always make sure to check these things out. Read, talk to your legislators, talk to all sides of things. But if you do want to sign the letter, I'm going to make sure there's a link in the show notes, or you can also join the ASPCA Veterinary Engagement Team. It's a team that does a lot of great work. It's something that I've found a lot of enjoyment finding the time to be able to help get the word out with them as much as possible. And it's going to be interesting to see what Assembly Bill 519 does. Will this be something that we start to see the inclusion or exclusion of middlemen from the supply chain of pets? And I hate to think of the supply chain of pets, but it is something that exists, and it's an industry that's really, really massive. So very interesting things going on there. Be sure to sign that letter if you're in California, or send it to any California veterinarians that you know. Now, this was a little bit shorter episode, but that's because you guys all were busy celebrating the 4th of July. So your companies took a little bit easy. But you know what? Just like always, we've got great stories coming for you. We've got a really cool story coming up next week as well. And there's also a ton of interesting things that we're going to be hitting on in our Substack. So be sure to check that out. And for more on these and other stories, always join us by subscribing to our Substack. There's a link in the bio. And don't miss out on any episodes by subscribing and rating the show. For the Bird Bath, I'm Ryan Leach. See you next week.